Hello! Here I am on my little perch in Anchorage, Alaska. You know me, I'm Crystal Hutchins, and I'm sitting on a rant. How about that? What a surprise. I was talking with a friend this week. We were making fun of this concept that, well, I'm not even making fun of it, it's driving me crazy. It's the fact that these very vulnerable, what I affectionately call baby awakeners, people who are just starting to wake up to the bigger nature of reality, they're getting sucked into these insane conspiracy theories. Insane. Like mind-blowingly insane. Like you've gone way too far down the rabbit hole, friends. I understand the rabbit holes. I've been up and down them. I know them well. I could write a book about conspiracy theories. I could write a book alone on the Illuminati, probably. I'm actually thinking about making a documentary. That's an interesting idea. I just don't know where to start, but I might start doing something like that. But there's this weird thing that has happened. It's gone totally haywire. And these baby awakeners have gotten sucked into this concept that Trump, this is so mind-blowingly insane, that anyone thinks there's anything good about Trump. I don't think there's anything left in his soul, sadly. But the fact is, there's a whole faction of baby awakeners who've fallen into this rabbit hole that Trump is somehow behind the scenes fighting the dark forces. Oh my God, there's an eagle! Ah! Shit. I lost it. He's way up there. Squirrel! Sorry. I don't know if I got any good footage of him, but whoa, he was a big one. Just a normal part of Alaska. I find it just completely mind-blowing that these people think that Trump is on the good side of the awakening of humanity. It's blowing my mind. I don't even know. It's like I'm like verklempt with a lust for words. It's so disheartening, for one, but at the same time, like, I know none of this is real. So, but then there's like the human body part of me that enjoys the experience and doesn't want my terrarium to get destroyed, if you know what I mean. And there's this concept that Trump is fighting the dark forces in this like alien cabal, this artificial intelligence, just these crazy ideas, this pedophile ring, and Clinton and Obama are all involved in pedophilia. It's like, what? How are these people so, like, delusional? God, what's the word? Naive? It's confusing. I don't even know how to verbalize it. As you can see, as I'm trying, I'm sort of like stunned with where to even begin on this topic. This idea that Trump is draining the swamp. The swamp? Do you mean he's like draining the prairie lands so the vermin can thrive? I don't know. And then this whole Rosanne thing. Here's the thing, I don't watch the news on purpose. I have not watched the news for years. Of course shit trickles down, and the big things come through social media and stuff. And so I get caught up in the the ego stuff sometimes in the stories, but I remember a few years ago when Rosanne seemed really on top of it. She like understood MK Ultra, and she was trying to bring out, you know, the negative impact that it had in Hollywood. She was trying to bring, you know, information to the surface that people weren't aware of it. But it seems like she went way too far down some rabbit holes and went nutso? I don't know. I personally feel and like strongly know, I was going to say believe, but I just know that there's no room on this planet for any kind of hatred, any kind of racism, any kind of belittling of any person of any type. And that's literally the core of what's wrong with our world, is us feeling that we're separate from each other and that there are differences that make us better or worse than each other, and they consume people and they make people crazy with anger. Anger is insanity, it really is. And what has to happen for the awakening of humanity is to realize that we are all one thing. We're like the energy field of the entire planet, and not, it doesn't end at the planet. The planet is then just one organism of the incredibly vast, indescribably vast, infinitely vast universe of majestic magnitude, the mind of God represented in a slowed down form of atoms so that we can experience solid mass and consciousness. It's like, how do you, I don't know where, like, I was born with these knowings, and so this idea of like people are lately, a lot of people are waking up and they're talking about the day they woke up, and you know, they don't even know that they are still asleep and that they just barely started to come out of the dream, and they don't really realize that they're still in the dream. Have you ever had that, woken up inside your dream and thought you were awake and everything was really weird, and you're like, oh, I see this and I see, but this is strange, how is this possible? And then you're like, and then you actually wake up and you're like, oh, I was still dreaming. That's where so many people are right now. And I remember being there. I was there. It's better than being totally asleep, but it's not the end place. There is no end place. There's just a constant evolving understanding of like when they say enlightenment, that's not a thing you can reach. It's an ever-evolving, never-ending process of gaining understanding through experience and through divine connection with the higher mind. Enlightenment isn't a state that you can reach. I've said this many times, but I fucking hate it when people are like, oh, you think you're so enlightened? Like, no, I want people to wake up and see what there is to see and stop focusing on negative things and hatred and darkness, and like, you create those things by thinking about them. That's how powerful you are. You're so powerful that you've been able to completely separate yourself from your powers in order to feel the experience of being powerless, and you actually believe that's what reality is, this powerlessness. But it's not. Oh gosh. I need to jump into where to end this. I don't know, because it's sad that that people are, here's what it is. I remember when they knocked the towers down, and I had a huge awakening process on how fucked up America actually is. That was a wake-up call for me to realize, oh, we're just this big dumb jock asshole who stomps around the planet taking whatever we want and thinking there's no repercussions. Well, here are your results. And that was that wake-up call for me. And this whole Trump thing, I've said this for I don't know how long. I don't get involved in the political process because I don't believe in it, because it's not real. It's a fake system that doesn't work. It's a confusion. It's a manipulation. And it's garbage. And so the only way to change a broken system is to take your energy out of it. So I don't participate. Now, some people say stupid shit like, well, if you don't vote, then you can't complain. Well, what do you mean? Because I don't have any good options. You're not showing me a real leader. You're not letting real, true leaders step forward and guide us into... The problem is really too many people are asleep, and that's why we even need leaders in the first place. But while the ones of us who are aware enough to take our energy out of the system do so, we're going to be then watching the system fall apart, and this is it. It's gonna get a lot uglier before it gets better. One of the things we say is, as fast as it's getting better, it's getting worse. As fast as it's getting worse, it's getting better. Because it's the information doubling phenomenon. I see a butterfly, I'm like, squirrel! It's a tiger swallowtail. I love those. But so this whole Trump thing was just another wake-up call like 9/11. It's like, oh my God, I thought racism was a dying art form, but it's alive. And now we have people like Rosanne stepping forward to be a role model to you, and so now you're proud. You're proud of looking at someone who's capitalizing on this concept of being poor and overweight and ignorant and racist, and you feel proud about that, having that role model. It's like I started this whole video saying, it's mind-boggling. We have to learn how to manifest our reality. And the more of us that actually wake up, remember when I say this, I'm not saying I'm enlightened. I'm not saying I'm a totally awake and aware person, but I'm aware that this awakening process is happening. Oh my gosh, what is that? That's some kind of cool bird. I'm so easily distracted. This is why I come out here. Oh my God, there's no people, there's just animals, and there's trees, and there's nature, and this is what reality really is, and everything else is just fake. It's just these stories that we make up. It's not real. It's greed on top of anger, on top of fear-based thinking of, I have to get mine, I have to get my stuff, I have to have more things. You don't need these things. You don't need this stuff. It's not us. It's not who we are. We're stardust. We're like the light shining through just these little organic cars that we're driving. And the awakening process that's happening, we're watching the lowest form of it. This is where it begins. This is where the dream starts to fall apart. It's where you wake up from the crazy monster chasing you and you're like, oh, phew, that was scary. And then you're like, wait, what's that over there? Oh my God. Oh shit, I'm still asleep. This is the process. It's not that fun. It's hard to watch if you've been, you know, sitting up watching people be asleep for a long time, and now you're watching them like startle awake and go back to sleep, and then startle awake and go back to sleep, and they keep, in their nightmares, they keep going down these rabbit holes and these deceptions and these lies and all this fake stuff. It's not real. It's not who we are. We need to wake up. I don't need anything, but I have this script, this movie script that I wrote, and I want to get it to Russell Brand and to Jim Carrey and somehow get them to make this movie, because if we can filter this information into people's living rooms, the places where they don't want to leave from, where they want to be asleep, they go home to eat the Cheetos and drink the Coke and the beer and smoke cigarettes and just, I gotta tune it all out. I had a horrible day. My boss is an asshole. Like, you do a million things every day that you don't want to do, and then you wonder why you're sick. You're sick because you're doing all the things that to try and forget what you're doing, because you know deep down it's not who you are. But you won't change. Why? There's something I always want to say. Oh yeah, raw food. Fresh fruit and vegetables. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to everyone to just take a break from eating shit, from putting garbage, chemicals, drugs, alcohol, just everything fucking toxic, just dumping it in your face and then being like, oh, they're killing us with this fluoride and this chemtrails and shit. Like, what? No, they don't have to. You're putting it in your own face. Why? Get organic fruit. Just take a break. You're gonna feel like shit for a couple weeks, because that shit is gonna start coming out of your system when you stop taking it in. And just eat fruit. Just eat leafy greens. Just drink celery juice. Drink green juice, add some apples if you can't drink just celery. Celery's the best. And if you're sick and you're tired and you're in pain and you have chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and lupus and Lyme disease, you probably have a virus that's fucking killing you that nobody's telling you about, and you should get the book Medical Medium. I'm going to highly recommend this book. Medical Medium, and then there's a bunch of books specific to each part of the body after that, but you have to heal yourself. No one's gonna do it for you. No one's gonna come over to your house and feed you fruit. You have to take your tired, sick, fucked up body to the store, buy organic fruit, then go home, feel like shit, detox that garbage out, and you're gonna fucking wake up, and then you're gonna really know what it's like to be awake. And why don't you do that? Why won't you? Why? Because it's hard? Anything worth doing is hard. If you want to settle for easy, look around. Look at your life. Look what it's getting you. This is what easy is. This is where easy has gotten you. Is it awesome? I doubt it. Fresh fruit, organic. Just that. That's it.